Well, hello, hello. Hey, YouTube. Good to see you again. Adam here, coming to you once again from the Smoking Lounge, here in the corner of Rust Belt Pipes HQ, the shed in my backyard. A little better. Hope that you're all doing well. I certainly am. And one of the reasons is because it's so good to be back here in the shed in my backyard. It has been a really busy time. And here we are, kind of at the end of spring here in Michigan, South Central Michigan. And this video, I should say, is for April 2026. This is technically May, we're almost halfway through May, but life has been really hectic and busy, which we'll talk about a little bit. But I promised you a video at the end of every month, and I'm going to hold to that. So this is the video for April. There will be another one probably next week because I'll be traveling during my normally scheduled time. But one of the things that I promised you, I think in my last video, was that I would come back with a blend review. And I'm going to do that. And so I'm going to be reviewing my second ever Esoterica blend, Dorchester, which it says here, blended exclusively for Arango Cigar Company by J.F. Germain & Son, pipe tobacco entirely made, blended, and aged in the British Isles. And Dorchester is, on the front it says, a rich, full matured Virginia with Louisiana Perique. This I purchased in February. There you go. February of this year for $36. 36 US plus sales tax. So we're going to crack it open here. And I'm pretty excited. I'm not usually a just do it brute force person. In fact, I'm not going to be because I really don't want to mess anything up. So we're going to use the old screwdriver. There we go. I'm really excited. It's been a while since I've done a blend review. But I'm looking forward to it. Is this better or is this better? I think that's better. All right, so let's open it up. I've never had Dorchester before. So I'm going to give you my thoughts. Nothing out of the ordinary there. That smells really nice. So this is, I think, a 3.8 in that range on tobaccoreviews.com. And it's a vapor. If you're watching this and you already know about Dorchester, as you know, if I say something that's a little bit wrong, it's just because I don't know. So pretty standard presentation here. Nothing like gold foil or anything like that. Your standard paper disc inside the coffee filter. And that's what we see. So this is a loose cut. It does smell very good. It smells very sweet. This is not an old tin. As I said, I purchased this in February of this year, and I think it was like a new tin. Purchased at Maison Edwards, my local tobacconist in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We'll talk a little bit more about Maison Edwards. So it's interesting. So it is mostly a sort of standard cut, although I do see some pieces that are more akin to like this, which is almost more akin to like a broken flake. There are definitely layers and stuff in there. But we're just going to go ahead and give it a go. If you've watched these types of videos on my channel anyway, you know that I don't do anything like leave time for drying. I don't baby the blend. What I do is I open it, I chuck it in a pipe. Today it is a rusticated Bing's favorite. Oh, my hands are shaking a little. I was just mowing the grass. Rusticated Bing's favorite. And then I smoke it. So I don't, no ceremony. Yeah, there's another one of those pieces that's kind of broken flaky. So I won't pack it too tight. This Bing's, of course, can be fitted with a 6mm filter, but I'm smoking it unfiltered today. For no reason other than I don't have any 6mm filters out here. Okay. We'll light our Savinelli pipe with our Savinelli lighter, if there's fuel in it. There we are. Ah. We'll let that open up a little bit and give me my thoughts. In the meantime, what's been going on? All sorts of things. So I have been really slamming the research, and it's been going super well. You know, I never aspired to be an academic type, and I still don't really feel like one. But as my wife said the other day, you kind of can't hide it. You know, I'm doing the PhD thing. I'm in my last year, Lord willing. But yeah, for me, I very much feel like, I don't know. I grew up in rural Pennsylvania. I live now in semi-rural Michigan. And I just don't feel like I'm smart enough to be an academic, or not snooty enough, or whatever. I guess I do smoke a pipe. Maybe that's part of it. Anyway, it's been going well. And without going into boring details for all of you, I'm doing 2 surveys. I've completed the first one. They're sequential, so I had to do the first one, do all of the analysis. Out of that analysis came the questions for the second one. So now I'm piloting, as of today, or still today, I'm piloting that second one with some PhD friends of mine. And then I'll send it off into the world and then get data back and do all the analysis and then write it up. My 2 supervisors are really wonderful. One from Italy, where my program is based, and one who lives in Spain but who's Irish. I chose a methodology that was unfamiliar to them. And, you know, in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have picked a more standard one, but this is the one I wanted to do. And it's the one that kind of spoke to me. It makes sense in my head how it works. So, at their request, I brought on a methodology advisor, so another PhD professor, actually, from Sweden. And he really helped me put the pedal to the metal and get over this last hump, which is nice. And he's very kind, and, you know, he doesn't shy away from the feedback. And if I do something stupid, he says, "Hey, that's stupid," which is what you need, so that you don't get to the end and go, "Ooh, that was a pretty big mistake I made there." can I still have a PhD, please? So it's been really helpful. And what else has been going on that front? Just turned in a book chapter with a person for a really boring academic book. So we wrote a chapter on basically doing a literature review and systematically looking at things and kind of critiquing some gaps in current research in our area, which is higher education, international higher education. And just about to start another open-ended research project with sort of the enemy, Michigan State University. Who gives me shivers. No, it's fine. To do some research for them, with them. So that's cool. That one, importantly for Rust Belt Pipes, that one is paid. So it's sort of a consulting thing, and it's going to pay for a large chunk of the new lathe. See my last video on metal lathe versus wood lathe, my preference, my goals. I think by wiping off the wood lathe, it's like 2 years old. Cleaning it up, wiping it down, I could probably sell it for about 80% of what I bought it for, because I also have some other pieces. So maybe actually pretty close to sale cost when I throw those extras. Which that sale plus what I'm getting paid for this research consulting thing, I think would pay for the metal lathe that I've been looking at. So it's pretty nice. Hopefully that will work out. Though I also, I think I showed you guys the sailboat. We bought a sailboat right after the baby was born last year. So I get a lot of boat projects. So some of that money might go to boat projects, but we shall see. Anyway, let's pause the conversation and come back to Dorchester. So, Dorchester. A rich, full, matured Virginia with Louisiana Perique. I did, just before filming this, look up tobaccoreviews.com, and there's a review in there that says that there's a topping on this, like apricot. I haven't seen that anywhere else, and I admittedly have not watched very many reviews. I'm not getting any topping, so I'm going to say either that person is pretty sorely mistaken, or my palate is really terrible after really not smoking very much the last couple of weeks. It's nice. Is it worth the upcharge that you have to pay for Esoterica? I don't know that it is for me. If you watch this channel at all, my favorite blend of all time is Robert McConnell Highgate. Highgate, right here. Which is a vapor that includes Black Cavendish. I like my vapors to be a little on the sweet side. Not sickly sweet like an aromatic, but I like that mellow addition of sweetness from a Black Cavendish or something similar. This doesn't have that. So it's not what I look for personally in a vapor. See, I'm gurgling already. But it's fine. For me, it's not one that I'll chase. What was the one that I got from Good Buddy? Stonehaven. I got it at the backgammon tournament last year from Blunderblots here on YouTube and on Instagram and Patreon. That was really good. I would chase Stonehaven. I wouldn't chase Dorchester. Now, caveat here. This is fresh. Like, it could be a tin from late 2025. Now, this is mid 26. It probably ages pretty well, I would imagine. So, this is definitely going to go in a jar in the dark in my kind of cedar chest of goodness. And we'll pull it out in 3-4 years' time. And we'll see. For me, I'm going to give it 3 stars out of 4. Pleasant smoke, mild smoke, good flavor. But there are other vapors that I would rather smoke than this. Yeah. Other news. In my last couple of videos, I've shot from the family farm. And I'm very happy to say that the chicken coop and the outdoor run, now complete, asterisk, it's not really complete, but the chickens are out. They're safe, they're fully protected, and they are loving it out there, which is great. I love seeing them out and about and jumping and running around. We have 20 hens and 2 roosters, so it's a 10-to-1 ratio. It's the perfect number of chickens for us. We get about 12.5 eggs per day. Beautiful, large, brown of various shades, some light, some dark. And so that means that we eat all the eggs that we can. But then we also give eggs to now my parents, my wife's parents, my sister-in-law and her kids. My in-law's neighbor gets some every week. So it's really satisfying. One, it's satisfying to have gone to the store, purchased these chicks that at that point were like a day old. And I got a bunch of them in the mail as well last summer. And raise them up, feed them, keep them safe. You know, we lost some to hawks and predators and stuff, and a little bit of cold. But we have still a bunch. And yeah, it's nice to now be able to have eggs and provide eggs for other people. And good, healthy eggs. Not technically organic, but it's about as close as you can get without really, checking all those boxes. So that's nice. Now my time is freed up. We really wanted to get them out before it got too hot and stuff so that they could be out all summer and stuff. So that's done. I've done a nice cleaning in here. So the bench is clean. It's been wiped off. It's been vacuumed. I've got all my stuff. I've got my briar blocks inside the house. And I've been slowly kind of getting back in muscle memory here in the shop as I'm able with work, with the new job that I started 3 months ago, and the PhD and the baby and everything. But good things are going to happen out here. I just know it. Stay tuned on that. In terms of Rust Belt Baby, give you an update. She is going to be 9 months, somehow, 9 months on Tuesday. It's not tomorrow. Wednesday. Sometime this week. The 13th, whatever day that is. She'll be 9 months. What a trip it is to become a father. I really like it. It's ups and downs, of course. But she's doing things like saying mama. She can't quite get dada, but she's baba. So that's close enough for me. She's crawling. She's trying to stand up. She'll certainly be on her feet, walking around by Christmas, I would expect. So it makes me very happy. I never wanted to have kids. I never really wanted to be married, if I'm honest. But I fell in love, got married, very happy. never really wanted kids, had a kid. I'm very happy. So sometimes it's, you think something is going to be a certain way in your head in theory, and then you get to it in practice, and it's some of what you thought is right, but a lot of it you were just kind of totally off, even from observing other, guys my age who are parents. Um, Man, the way that you raise your kids, you can do whatever you want. I mean, you shouldn't do whatever you want, but you really do have total freedom to raise a child as you see fit and as you believe a child should be raised, and that is a weight of responsibility, but also a really exciting opportunity. So I'm learning a lot. Not perfect, not anywhere close to perfect, but we're doing okay. She's going to be 9 months old, and she's happy and healthy, and what more could you want? Not much. Still chilly here in, as I said, South Central Michigan. We're still in the high 50s during the day. It did dip below freezing last night, and we got some frost and that kind of stuff. But that's typically how early May goes up here. But I think we're going to start hitting 70s and maybe even 80s in the next couple of weeks. And last week of this month, actually, I leave on Memorial Day evening, headed down to Florida for a week for work. I'll be in Orlando. I'll get there the night on Memorial Day, and I'll be there all the way through Saturday, and then I'll come back. And then we'll jump in a rental car and head up north to the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, for a week of vacation, much needed rest, recuperation, road trip. So we're going to drive from where we are in South Central Michigan all the way up to Mackinac Bridge, up to the Straits, tip of the hand up here. And then we're going to cross over into the Upper Peninsula and go all the way west over to Marquette, a place I've never been, and see a bunch of stuff in between here and there. And then we'll come back. And then it'll be like second week of June. So we'll be about this time next month. And I'll be off on all sorts of work travel over the summer, visiting partner universities all over the U.S. So it'll be a busy time, but a good time. And hopefully lots of pipe making, or hopefully a reasonable amount of pipe making, a reasonable amount of boat work, working to refit this sailboat, and a lot of PhD time, a lot of fatherly time, and husbandly time. So yeah, so that's what's going on with me. It's good. It's busy. But it's busy in a way that's manageable. And I'm not racked with stress over work like I used to be at my old job, which is such a blessing. And it's nice, so the Sunday Scaries is a concept. I think it came up via social media. But the idea is that sometime on Sunday you start dreading Monday morning and being at work and what's in your inbox and all this kind of stuff. I used to be really, really afflicted with the Sunday Scaries. In fact, my Sunday Scaries often started about 6 p.m. on Friday, some weeks, a lot of weeks. But now I have a totally different job, a totally different pace of work, and my boss is so awesome. Very human focused, all that sort of stuff. So it's really good, and I'm excited to start work on Monday mornings now instead of dreading it. The last thing, we're carrying on a bit, but this is what these videos are these days, and that's just what it is. The Pipe Club. Well, Pipe and Cigar Club. Not exclusive to pipes and cigars. If you saw my last video, I did a quick check-in after our meeting at Maison Edwards, and it was really good. Had a good number of people, and we've got an email thread going now Well, I sent an initial email and got a couple of replies back. But we're going to continue on, make some arrangements for this month, timing and stuff. So if you are in this area and can make it to Ann Arbor on the third Thursday of each month, probably, shoot me a message, an email, or shoot me a message on LinkedIn and let me know. Just remind me, even if you sent one before, just because my brain is what it is right now. And I'll get you in that email thread. The real trick, and the thing that's broken my heart recently, if I'm honest, truly, is that Maison Edwards is kind of getting pushed around by their landlord. And I already asked Chuck that I could talk about this, and he said it was fine. So the shop has been there since 1964, in the same spot, in the same storefront. It's been there. That's just where it's always been. And there have been some new tenants who don't much care for smoking and have been complaining about smoky smell and that sort of stuff. So the landlord kind of put pressure on Chuck, the owner, and said, look, you got to replace this ventilation system and you have to use our contractor. And they quoted him $9,000, which, as you can imagine, for a small tobacconist in a little space in Ann Arbor, Michigan, that's a decent chunk of change. And he said, well, what happens if I don't do that? And they said, well, as of tomorrow, so this is on a Sunday, as of tomorrow, Monday morning, you can no longer have any smoking in your shop. And thus it has been for the last week and a bit. So my happy place, my kind of temple really, is under the gun. They're putting pressure on him to change the ventilation, and I think there's other things at play, or they're kind of trying to push him out. Maybe that's my opinion, just what I think, and it's kind of breaking my heart. I love Maison Edwards, as you know. I go there a ton. I try to buy as much of my tobacco as I can there. I bought Dorchester there. And I love hanging out, smoking a cigar or a pipe, chatting with people who walk in, and with Chuck, and just being in that environment of things really being unchanged since the 60s. It's a place that you don't see those places much anymore, and not in the condition that it is in. You know, it's an old shop, and there are parts of it that are kind of old and should maybe be renovated, but that's also a lot of the charm. And he's in a tough spot. So, you know, the idea with the Pipe Club is that we would meet at Maison Edwards. As of right now, we can't do that. So we're going to meet other places in town because we have to. But my hope with the club and with me and with Chuck is stuff that we can kind of figure out a way to get back to where we all want to be, except for the landlord and his neighbors maybe, which is having smoking in the shop. This isn't a call for a plea for help or anything. I'm not asking for money or anything like that. I'm just saying that this is a place that means a lot to me and means a lot to a lot of people in the community. It's such a historic shop that hopefully this is not the last chapter for. But we will see. It's hard to say. Yeah. Well, with that, I'm going to end this video and catch up on some YTPC watching. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks for the May video. And I may even shoot a little video from Orlando. Maybe if I can find a cigar shop. We'll see. But until then, thanks for dropping by. Hope that you all are doing well and smoke a lot of pipes and cigars. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.